on, guys? Jake Peffer here. Welcome back to Jake's Cinema Room. Today I am going to be reviewing the remake of the 1992 classic White Men Can't Jump with the newly titled White Men Can't Jump. So yeah, this is a movie that I don't think anyone was expecting to get a remake done to it, because the 1992 version is such a classic movie, and honestly I feel like one of the more underrated comedies from the 90s. You had Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson, Rosie Perez, great cast of characters, and the dynamic between Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes worked well, and they played off each other well enough that it made for such a great and entertaining movie. So why the need to remake it? Well, honestly, probably not that good of a reason, but I do have to say I was pleasantly surprised with this remake. This is actually one of the better remakes in the more recent years that I've seen. And a lot of it, in part, has to do with the chemistry between the two lead actors. Sinqua Walls and Jack Harlow, who most of you probably know as the rapper Jack Harlow, they play off each other very well. Not quite to the same degree that Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson did, but these two guys have good chemistry together, and it's the biggest selling point of this movie. Overall, I don't think Jack Harlow is the greatest actor by any means. This is his first acting performance. We're definitely not counting his episode of Saturday Night Live that he hosted last season. That definitely doesn't count. But this is his first, movie, TV role. And for the most part, he's not bad, surprisingly. He's definitely not great by any means, but I think he actually gets elevated a little bit because of the dynamic between him and Sinqua Walls' character. Like I said, I think they play off of each other very well, and I think that almost helps Harlow's performance, because you can definitely tell this is one of his first roles, and for him to get a bulk of the movie put on his shoulders, probably not the best idea, but for what it's worth, he does a decent job in his first starring role. Now, Sinqua Walls, on the other hand, this is his movie. He is carrying this with gusto, and he is fantastic in this movie. And it's about time that he's had a leading role like this, because this is a guy that's been around for actually quite a while. He pops up in, certain things here and there, but he's never really had a starring role like this where he gets put out front and center to shine. And I think he does it very well here. He gives a lot of depth and weight to his character, and you really feel for him by the end of the movie, because this does play pretty well with some comedy and drama dynamics. I think it works a little bit better in the comedy department than it does in the drama, but it walks a decently fine line between both. You do get a little emotional actually right off the bat, because unfortunately this is one of the final performances of the great Lance Reddick. He plays Sinqua Walls' father in the movie, and right off the bat his character has a medical condition, and you can probably kind of see where it's going to go from there. And it's a performance that's very good despite him not being in the movie for very long, and it's always a pleasure to see him in roles like this, because he was such a good actor. And it's a shame this is one of his final performances, because the guy, no matter what the role was, no matter how small it was, he always brought it every single time, and here is no different. Outside of those three, the rest of the cast here is fine. Nobody else really, I would say, stands out more so than the two leads. But everybody here is doing a good job. And like I said, the comedy bits here I think do work. There are some very funny, genuinely laugh out loud moments throughout the movie, but there are times where the jokes do run a little flat. There's two characters that play other friends of Sinqua Walls' character, and those guys, they're funny, but they're very hit or miss. There'll be a scene where they're throwing off a few one-liners and they're absolutely hilarious, and then in the next scene they just kind of are whatever. But for the most part, I think they work more than they don't. And the dynamics that they build between the two leads and their girlfriends in the movie, I think work for the most part, but they don't really do as much with it as I think they should. They definitely build the chemistry and the relationship between the two leads more than they do with their significant others, and I think that's a flaw in the movie. Is it would have been nice to see them play off of their significant others just a little bit more, and I do think those actresses are both good in their roles. It just didn't work for me as far as their relationships with the two lead actors. But yeah, like I said, this definitely surprised me. I was not expecting a whole lot out of this movie, and overall I think it works more than it doesn't. It's definitely not up to the same level as that original movie. So yeah, when it comes to being a remake, it falls short of surpassing the original, but I think it's still a worthy remake. It's one of the fewer remakes that, you know, does things right to the point where it modernizes the original movie. You know, it sets it in these times, and you know, you have a lot of references to things that are happening now. And I think this is a pretty decent way of doing that without going overboard. But there are some elements to the movie that I don't think work as well as others. But as a total package, it's definitely entertaining, and I think it's worth checking out, especially if you are a fan of that original movie. I think you'll get some good laughs out of this, and I think it's going to open up a door for a new generation of fans who maybe weren't as familiar with that older movie, but might like this one more just because it does play more to the modern times and everything like that. So overall, I would give the remake of White Men Can't Jump a 6 out of 10. Like I said, it's definitely above average, but it's not doing anything new or original enough to really make it stand on its own feet versus other similar movies that have, you know, similar plots and things like that. But the chemistry between Cinco Walls and Jack Harlow is definitely the selling point of the movie. Just don't expect anything overly fantastic here, and I think you'll still have a pretty entertaining time. That's about it for me, guys. If you have gotten the chance to see White Men Can't Jump, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews, and I'll leave all my links down below on where you can follow me and check out more of my written reviews. And until next time, I will catch you guys later.